Welcome to Azigos, where we talk raw, real, and unfiltered about the trucking industry, the good, the bad, and the broken. But we don't just leave it there. We also help those ready to reclaim and drive the future of the trucking industry. Today, we are discussing the driver's dilemma. What is that, you may ask? We are helping those who are ready to be their own boss make the decision whether to be carrier or owner-operator. Oh, wait, you thought those were the same thing? If you thought those were the same, then you have a lot to learn about the trucking industry, and this episode is for you. So come on into the lounge. That's Azigos, the Truckers Lounge. How you doing, KT?
Hey, how you doing today?
I am doing excellent. I am Tracy, your co-host here with KT, your trucking industry badass, and we are excited that you have joined us today for another episode of Azigos, the Truckers Lounge. So imagine this. You have been a driver in the industry for 7+ years, but you are ready to take control of your own destiny. You are ready to be your own boss. You are ready to be the master of your ship. So what do? Do you go owner-operator or do you become a carrier? Oh, you thought those were one and the same, but they're not. They are very different. And we are discussing what those differences really mean for how you navigate forward in being your own boss. We're going to discuss differences in the money, differences in your workday, differences in insurance. And we have our expert here today. Why? Because he has been a carrier and he knows what it's all about. And so we are going to go through those differences today to help you make that very important decision as you transition. So are you ready for this discussion today, Kevin?
Absolutely. It's a hot day today, and I'm ready to discuss a hot topic.
And from your experience, do you think this is a decision that a lot of carriers are faced with, or a lot of truck drivers are faced with?
Well, they are, but a lot of them are not even aware that it is a difference.
Mhm.
Those who just been a trucker or just a CDL driver, and he's looking to elevate his professional career, he really don't even know there's a difference between being a carrier versus being an owner operator.
Okay. And we're going to go through certain factors to really highlight the differences to help people make that decision. Is that correct?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes, because you definitely want to get involved in something or pick the different avenue that's going to best suit what type of personality you have or what type of time you want to dedicate to your business.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's just jump right in and let's not hesitate. So let's talk about the freedom between being a carrier versus lease or owner operator.
Owner operator, yes.
Yes.
Because you could lease on, and well, no. Pretty much, if you lease, you're going to be an owner operator.
Owner operator.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
So when we talk about freedom, we're talking in terms of, how you find loads. So let's talk about that.
Well, we can start off with how you find loads, but
Okay.
there's a lot of things pertaining when you're talking about the freedom.
Okay.
When you picking whether you want to be a carrier or owner operator.
Okay. So let's talk about.
You want to talk about the loads
let's,
first?
Let's talk about the loads first.
Yeah. So if you're an owner operator, you basically, on one hand, you can pick your own loads, but really on the other hand, you have a situation where you don't attach your truck, whether you're leasing it or owning it, to a bigger company or a brokerage company that will provide loads for you. And when you do that, you'll be running under their authority. And so basically what you're talking about when you say authority, you're basically saying that you have to do business And in the United States, you have to be up under an authority, which is called the MC number. And when you have an MC number, you are able to do loads. And so you have big companies who are willing to subcontract your loads to a smaller company. The key is they have to run up under your authority because it's all about liability and responsibility. If you're not used to finding loads, or you don't know where to get loads, or you don't know how to negotiate loads, that's going to make you stay in business where you have enough liquid or fluidity in your cash flow, then more than likely, if you don't know how to do all those things, it will be best for you to start off as an owner operator to get your feet wet. Now, is there something you want to add to that, Tracy?
No, but that's a good point because it's almost like you're suggesting that doesn't necessarily have to be a one or other. Like you really could start off in one direction, meaning owner operator, sort of like getting your feet wet, learn the business, and then later transition to really taking on the full responsibility on your own as a carrier.
Yes, that will be ideal, but of course, you in the trucking demographic, you have truck drivers that's coming from all walks of life. When you do a owner operator, you still have to come under the credentials, or you have to have the credentials that specific company needs. And they may be a company that is very strict. You know what I mean? Versus, you have a lot of guys who might have a checkered past, coming in adverse situations, and they still want to have their own trucking company. The only way they can see themselves in is becoming a carrier.
Oh, so they may not be able to do 1 foot in, go owner operator, and then they may have to go full on as a carrier.
To be honest with you,
yes,
being an owner operator, I mean, it's almost like a glorified employee.
Right.
It's almost like a glorified employee. Yeah, because you're going to take on some of the responsibility of your own equipment and the maintenance of your equipment. They're going to give you a little bit bigger piece of the pie, but you still coming under their bylaws and how they want to run their company.
Okay. That's a perfect segue into the next factor you have to consider, which is the money.
The money.
Which is the division of how you get paid off of that load.
When you're an owner operator, because you're running under their authority, and when you're running under their authority, that means you're going to be up under their insurance. So they're going to use that to leverage against you. And more than likely, most when you run up under somebody's authority, whether it's a big corporation or whether it's one of your partners in them, usually they're going to charge you 30% of the value of that load to run up under their authority.
Wow. And that could end up being a really big piece of the pie.
It's a big piece of the pie, but you got to look, it's a lot less stress because, when you're talking about making insurance payments and things of that nature, because usually when you own an operator, all they're going to require you to have bobtail insurance. And that's basically the insurance you have. Basically, like if you have a regular car, it's basically to insure your truck when you don't have a load up under it. Okay. Or you're not working.
But wait, before we get into that, because that's going to segue into our startup costs, but going back to how the pie is divided up. So you're going to have to share a piece of the pie when you're our owner operator. And typically that cut is 30%.
Typically it's 30%
of the bigger company you're running under.
Right.
As opposed to a carrier, you get to take home all the pie.
Yeah. You get to take, when you're a carrier, you get to take on all of the pie because you're your own boss, literally. Like everything is on you.
It's on you. So you're responsible for negotiating the rates.
You're responsible for negotiating the rates. You're responsible for your maintenance. You're responsible for your insurance. You're responsible for all your compliances when it comes to DOT. You're responsible for everything.
Okay.
So it's basically a situation, you eat what you kill.
Okay. And if that's not your personality and you want that support and that help to do that, then there's a price to pay for it. Going to owner operator
It's a price to pay for
is
it.
a price to pay for. Okay. So you touched on a little bit about the bobtail insurance, which really is a segue into some of the startup costs and
Startup costs,
and
yes.
how it differs between a carrier and an owner operator.
Right.
So if you're an owner operator, insurance, big price tag.
Big price tag.
Okay.
And because of the validity of all the new carriers and drivers that's in the CDL, and you have a lot of inexperience or drivers who are not domesticated, I'll say. It has caused for a lot of payouts for the insurances. So now they have moved the goalposts. So insurance is extremely high. You got to be prepared if you coming out the gate, you know what I mean, and your authority is less than 2 to 3 years old, then you're looking at out the gate, you better have at least $10,000 to put down and be prepared to pay, like, I'd say the average of $2,000 a month for your premium.
Wow. And that can be a lot of money for
That's
somebody
a lot of money.
just starting off. And just in case you did not watch our last video, go back and check our last video, because if you are running under your own authority and you are a new carrier, you got to be able to make enough money to cover that kind of payment.
Right.
But then the catch-22 is you got to be able to do business and get that kind of business. And Kevin shared with you some tips last week. And if you want to know how under a new authority to get business, there are typically only 3 major brokers who will do business with you. So you have to go back and watch the last video to figure out those 3.
And I want to interrupt you.
Yes.
I know it's a mistake, but KT for us as the podcast.
Oh, KT.
Government name, you know, I try to limit access to that. You never know who's looking for me.
Okay, fair enough,
Absolutely.
KT. Okay. All right. So we talked a little bit about the insurance differences, much higher costs if you're going the carrier route as opposed to owner operator. What about the equipment? The actual truck itself?
Well, usually you might have situations where you have companies who does what's that word I'm looking for again?
A leasing subcontract?
No, subcontract out their work. They will help you get a truck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they will help you get a truck. You have some companies, but you know, that'll be another topic for another day, but that can help you level off some of your startup costs.
Now, I've heard in the streets, though, some of the leasing agreements, if you're doing owner operator and you're
well, yes, absolutely. But we'll have to do a whole nother episode on that.
Okay, about some of those.
So if I want to give you the true breakdown,
okay,
being under lease to own program, where you're running up on a bigger company authority. Yes,
because there's some fine print you definitely have to pay attention to.
I hope you own, you know, Vaseline in your house, or like P. Diddy, maybe you got baby oil. You can get baby oil at wholesale price.
Okay.
Because you're gonna need it.
Okay.
All right.
I got it. Okay. But as opposed to a carrier where you have to find and purchase your own truck. Now, at the end, we want you to share your personal experience becoming a carrier. I want you to share that. But just in general, as a carrier, you're responsible for finding your own truck, right?
Oh, yeah. Carrier, you're a one-man army. So you're responsible for picking a truck. And of course, you want to get, especially you jumping out the gate, you want to make sure that you're getting good enough equipment that can at least keep you rolling for at least 6 months to a year, where you don't have to put any maintenance in there.
Okay.
We can do an episode on things to look for when purchasing a new truck, which 9 times out of 10 is going to be a used truck. But yeah, it doesn't necessarily affect what type of truck you buy starting off, but absolutely that the overhead for us purchasing a truck, it just depends how many miles you want on your truck, how new you want the truck to be and who you buying the truck from.
What are some of the typical companies that people will go to purchase a truck? Do they buy it from typically purchase a truck from another person who's selling
You
it?
can do anything. You can buy it from a dealership, or you can buy it from these big rental companies for it's like Penske, Ryder, or you can buy it from somebody personal,
Okay.
a private owner.
Okay. And do you typically put down a down payment? You need all cash? Can you finance it?
Well, if you secure your own financing, they have financing programs. Just like if you was to buy a car, you can use the finance, or you can pay, you can cash out.
Brand new truck, typical price range. 6 figures
Yes.
for a top of the line truck.
For a low, not even top of the line, brand new truck, you speaking 6 figures right off the rip. So you're looking to be, even if you qualify to finance a brand new truck, you're looking at paying with your truck note probably like, I just say, so you won't get discouraged, we'll say $1,000 a week.
It sounds like that's $1,000 a week.
$1,000 a week.
Is that a conservative estimate?
That's a conservative estimate.
Keep in mind now, the costs are adding up. So
costs adding up.
You
so
have
you're looking
insurance,
at $10,000 for your insurance. Well,
as a down payment.
Right. Yes.
But then routine carrying those costs for a carrier though. Insurance payment a month though.
Now, I'm gonna say this, when I first jumped in the game, you can get away with paying about $3,000 down payment. But as I said, because of the validity and the insurance is having to pay so much money out with, the new drivers or whatnot, they have moved the goalposts.
Okay, right.
But if you DM me or hit me up, I know insurance brokers that can maybe work some magic for you if you mention my name.
Okay. All right. There you have it. That's
Absolutely.
a tip.
Yeah.
From his egos. He knows people. All right. And then other equipment, what about in addition to the truck, there's the trailer.
Trailer, right.
Okay.
So if you want to talk about a trailer, of course, if you are owner operator, you're going to be using their trailer. So you won't be responsible for the trailer at all. And that's big. Because if you try to be a carrier, you have load boards where what you would call like power only or power unit, where if you have on your insurance trailer exchange, so you don't necessarily have to have a trailer or you pulling containers, of course that will make your insurance go up a little bit. But if you want to, as a carrier, get your own trailer, that's an extra cost. So you're looking for a good trailer starting off, good sturdy trailer, you probably looking around $15,000. Of course, you can get that finance too.
Okay, you can get that finance.
But of course, you definitely want to have somebody experienced who know trailers to look at it, because the main thing, you want to make sure that the bushings are good on the trailer and the roof doesn't have any leaks. And basically the cross members up under the floor, you want to make sure all those are intact, because, different warehouses and stuff, a lot of them inspect the trailer before they allow you to take their load.
So that's another maintenance.
And once again, that could be a whole episode by itself.
Right.
Talking about trailers.
Right. Talking about trailers.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about just really sort of like the day-to-day operations, right? If you're owner operator, you sort of have a support. You have somebody to help with dispatch.
You basically have a team.
You have a team.
Yeah. So you got a dispatcher. They find the loads for you. They negotiate the price. All you responsible for is pretty much your truck, getting it there. They're going to provide the trailers.
No carrier packages to fill out.
No carrier packages. That's a big thing. A lot of businesses, the trucking business is a real business. So filling out carrier packages, them things you don't have to worry about as an owner operator. That will be something you have to worry about as a carrier.
Right. And what's the benefit of having a dispatcher when you're owner operator?
Well, basically, you won't have to really be thinking about trucking 24/7, 365. When you park the truck and you log out for the day, you pretty much good until you get back to rolling again. But that's not the case if you're going to be a carrier.
Okay.
You never clock out when
Okay.
you're a carrier.
All right. And then what about things like compliance and fuel cards and fuel?
Fuel cards, a lot of times when you're doing an owner operator, they provide you with fuel cards where they got a discount on the fuel or whatever. But if you do your homework, you can get that done as your own carrier as well. Once again, the team will help because the trucking industry go hand in hand with the stock market, and it goes up and down. It has slow periods. It has great periods. And you really have to be on top of your game if you're a carrier to be able to find your way through no matter what the climate is.
Okay. All right. So let's do round robin. I'll call out a category and you sort of tell me which one is probably more optimal based on the category, carrier or owner operator.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Take home pay.
Take home pay.
An optimal situation.
Optimal situation. Carrier.
Okay. Paperwork and administration.
Paperwork and administration. You definitely will want to be owner operator.
Okay. Load access.
Load access. I'm gonna say a push. Because load access, you got access to all the loads as a carrier. You can work for any broker or any shipper or warehouse or receiver that you want to. Of course, you're gonna have to go out there and have them trust you to do it. But when you're an owner operator, you pretty much gotta go where they tell you to go.
Okay.
So that's why I put it a push, because there's some places you might not want to go. But because you're under their authority, that might be all they're going to offer to you at that time.
Okay. All right. 2 more categories. Risk and liability. Optimal situation.
Optimal situation. Owner operator.
Okay. Last one. Scalability. You want to just scale up and grow your business, promote your own brand.
Yes, that's going to be a carrier.
Okay. So before we end, let's talk about your personal experience when you became a carrier. How many years had you been in the game before you decided to make the decision to transition to becoming a carrier?
I probably was a CDL driver, probably about 15 years.
And why did you decide to make that transition? What were some of the things, the factors that contributed towards you being ready after 15 years?
To be truthful, for my son, he had ended up getting his CDLs, and I felt so honored that he wanted to follow in my footsteps. And his goal was to own his own trucking business. And so I didn't know anything about it. And so who better to show him and give him the knowledge of the business than his father? So I was like, well, let me go out there and get the bumps and bruises and learn the business. So if he indeed is serious about owning his own truck, I could get him the game.
Okay. And what year did you transition?
To about 2018.
All right. So you did this coming up right on the cusp, right before COVID hit then.
Right. Absolutely.
All right. So let's talk about first finding your equipment. Where did you end up going to find your truck? Was it brand new? Was it used?
I got a used truck. I bought it from a dealer, but the dealer had got the truck from my auction, got one of Penske's outdated trucks that they sold.
Okay.
Yes.
Penske. Did it have a lot of mileage on it? Was it kind of low mileage?
I got it around 400,000 miles.
And in the trucking world, is that considered, because I know some people, with trying to compare it to cars, that may sound like a lot, but in the trucking world, is 400K considered on the high end, moderate?
It's considered moderate because you expect it for the life of an engine to at least last 1,000,000 miles if you take care of it.
Okay. And did you have someone inspect it before you purchased it?
What I did was I got an oil analysis,
Okay. All right.
but that's kind of 101 information. You just learning, I would do something much different buying a truck at this stage to check to see the condition of the truck.
Okay.
But of course, you're gonna have to pay attention and stay tuned if you want to get them little tips and secrets. But initially, all I did was a oil analysis.
And did you have a pretty decent down payment for it? 0 down payment? Did you pay cash,
I didn't.
finance?
Because I went out there and found my own financing company. I didn't have to put anything down. They financed the whole truck without me putting anything down because I had good enough credit.
Okay.
And I had so many years driving, so they was willing to trust me.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. But that's probably, like you shared earlier, given the climate today, that's probably low probability.
That's probably low probability at this stage.
Right. Okay. And then with your insurance, how were the quotes with the insurance? Were you sort of taken aback by some of the insurance quotes? Did you have a high down payment with that?
Oh yeah, I had a high down payment. It probably would be considered low
Given today's climate.
But once again, because I had so many years in the industry, it did help me out a little bit, but I still put down a pretty piece.
Okay. And then as far as your support, as far as how did you find managing, like doing the carrier packages and dispatch and handling all of that? Was that a burden, or you managed with that?
Yes, it's difficult. It's definitely something that if you haven't done before, it will be a learning curve. So you definitely, if you could, if you know anyone that is comfortable with doing administration type work, that will be best when you start off. It's almost like you want me to don't reveal. Okay, yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So I was blessed to have a family member. I won't give any names. That's comfortable with administration, project managing type of work.
Sure.
And they taught me as they did it themselves, and I learned to do it for myself. But it's definitely a learning curve.
Right.
I appreciate that, Miss Thomas. Yeah.
What else? Your equipment over the years and the maintenance.
Like I said, maintenance is a big thing.
Okay.
So I will say this. It's just like a country. It has a lot of natural resources. A country that's very rich. But if it has no army or it's not fortified, it doesn't matter how many riches that country has. So that's the same thing with your trucking business when it pertains to having a good mechanic. You should have a personal relationship with a good mechanic because that is your army to protect whatever assets or whatever wealth that you build within the trucking industry. If you don't have a mechanic to go hand in hand with that, then all that you feel like you accomplish can be gone in the blink of an eye.
All right. So there you have it. So that is our discussion for today. So to answer your question, whether to go carrier or owner operator, it's totally up to you. You have to know yourself. You have a final closing?
Yeah, I got a final closing.
Yes.
And I just want to leave this, and I'm always going to say this because I think it's important that we start communicating and sharing each other's experiences and coming together because this is my credo. When I came into business, you was able to support 3 or 4 families. Yes, with your one trucking business, you was able to support 3 or 4 families. So 3 to 4, we want to get back to 3 to 4. It's not a moral thing. It's just a thing that because of what you do and what you provide in your profession, you should be having an extreme amount of disposable income because you're making a major sacrifice out there, drivers.
That's right. And before we sign off, this is a reminder to please like, comment, and subscribe. Please help us to grow our channel. We have so much more we want to share with you. And we actually have something really big as we grow our channel that we want to be able to share with you. So please join us in this journey. And we thank you for joining us. So until next time, come on into the lounge. That's Azigos, the
Yep.
Truckers Lounge.
Big trucks, big profits.
All right. Take care.
All right.